Hello, hello. Let me grab you in. Are you there with me, Trent? Add to stream. Hello, 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 everyone. Welcome, welcome, welcome to the live episode of the Butterfly Evolution. Maybe you're listening from Relationship Table Talk as well. I have Mr. Conversationalist, Mr. Conversation from Trent, with Trent and friends. We're coming to you from the B2G Unity TV, Better Together. So that's what we're operating under tonight. And we're just kind of getting together and doing a show together. How are you, Mr. Epic?
I'm good. I'm good. I'm good. How are you? I'm good.
Good. I can't complain. Or should I say, I can't call it, might spoil it like you
Can't
do.
call it my spoil it. Can't call it my spoil it.
So, you guys, again, thank you. So we're gonna dive right into it, but before that, want to give some house what do we call it? Oh, I'm lost. House whatever. We're gonna get some tips for the Butterfly Evolution Radio Show, and why we're here, what we're doing, better together. And in that, we're always promoting transformation, change, owning your stuff, self-awareness, holding yourself accountable. And in order to do that, you must submit to change, to transformation, to self accountability. You must do the assessment of yourself to determine where you are and what needs to be changed. And what we do, what I like to do to promote that, or just to get people in the mood for change, or just entertaining the idea, is we ask you, it may sound silly if you're just hearing this for the first time, to move your trash can. And in doing that, you move it from one location to another, preferably one that you go to quite often. For me, it was the kitchen. So in moving it to from one place to another, what we found is what you will do is go back to the old location that you moved it from to dump your trash. How cool is that? And when you do that, we ask that you stop and think, what else am I because we do this because it's so easy to get caught up and get into this cruise control kind of life. You're just living life, not doing life, or doing life and not living it. However, you choose to look at it is different for everyone. But we tend to get caught up with the same people, with the same things, and we get fearful of change, because that means we have to look inside, that we have to do that assessment of self in order to determine what's working and what's not. And most times you will find that it's not always the other person, and that you too have to do the work, as Brother Trent would say. So we're asking you guys, move your trash can. Tell us about what that does to you, how that helps you in life, how that helps you, or if it helps you kind of look at life differently as it relates to the things that you may just be stuck in, and with the people that you may just be stuck, because we grow in seasons. And sometimes in those seasons, just like fall brings different flowers, different seasons in our lives bring different things, and we shed off some things and some people. So that's our butterfly evolution baby. The transformation baby is what I'll call it. So, Trent, how are you tonight, and what's going on in your life?
I can't call it my spoil it, man. Everything's good. Everything's good.
Good,
It's a
good.
relaxing day today, so back to the grind tomorrow to work out.
Yeah.
Working with
I
the team.
wish it was for me, y'all. I don't know what's going on with me, because I think the last time I was on here, maybe time before that, you and I were on here,
Yeah.
I had taken the wrong, but I was sick then. I had taken some medication that um, I took the wrong one that puts me to sleep, and I should have took the other one that kind of keeps me up. Well,
Right.
last night I did take something to help me sleep, but it did not. Like, I took a melatonin,
Oh,
and it
gotcha.
didn't work. It didn't work until like this morning, like 4 o'clock, and I've been sleepy all day.
Wow.
But it is what it is, and I will catch up tonight. So it's been a kind of a druggy day for me. Like, I just been wanting to sleep. So let's tell the good people how we came up with this discussion. So y'all, Trent and I always, like, we get to talking off air about so many things. And of course,
Right.
Valentine's, on this particular day, it was Valentine's. Was it that
Right.
particular day?
Things that particular day or before, the day
After.
before or the
Day
day
before?
after Valentine's.
I think it was the
What?
day after, because we were talking about how some people
Right.
feel some kind of way. when they don't get, if they didn't get a gift. And it reminded me, some years ago, I did a show on Valentine's Day. And the reason I ended up doing this show was because I was in Walgreens. I never forget it, at the corner of Macon and Witten Road. I was in Walgreens. It was Valentine's evening. And I saw, it was so funny because I saw all these guys in Walgreens trying to determine, I guess, what do I get? But they did not look happy doing so. They looked like they were stressed, like they felt forced to do it. And it was so funny to me. And it maybe it shouldn't have been, because maybe, I don't know. I just feel like with all that stress going on with what to buy, if to buy, maybe not having the money to buy, especially during this season where everything is so expensive, and Trent, I read that it was about 2.9. I want to say it's billion, but let me make sure, that was spent this year
Right.
on Valentine's Day. So that's a lot, and an average of $193 per person was
Here's the thing for me, right? I don't subscribe to it, and I'll tell you why.
okay.
It's a commercial. It's a commercial holiday to boost whatever economy or whatever it is. It's to boost sales, and they continuously push that on folks. And me personally, pressure folks into doing
Hmm.
stuff that they really don't want to do.
Right.
Let's just be honest. Because if I'm going to give you a gift, I'm going to give you a gift. It doesn't have to be a designated day for me to celebrate you. If I'm going to give it to
I
you, I'm going to give
totally agree. I totally agree. I haven't always felt that way. I used to be, I was thinking about that as I was looking over some things earlier. How I used to be caught up feeling like, oh, and I remember, brought to memory that, and I won't name anybody, but I remember calling, and this was y'all probably, oh gosh, Brandon was probably first, second grade, something like that. I don't know. But I remember just seeing all these gifts coming in. I was at work and I remember just calling like, I can't believe you didn't get me a gift. And it was so interesting because the person, the person literally pulled up to my job like an hour or so later.
it. Right.
And so immature of me this season in my life, Tammy, because he had worked all night, and it really, now in this season, it really didn't matter. It wasn't that big of a deal, but I
Right.
made it a big deal to the point where he was one of those guys that I saw in Walgreens, meaning he was the one that felt pressured to go get it, to the point where he came up to my job. He literally called me to come out and get the flowers from the car.
Right. I just don't. I've never subscribed to it because I don't like to be forced to do anything. So I've never subscribed to that holiday that they
Do you
made
think
up the
men
holiday.
feel forced to do it? Do you
They
think
do,
most men
absolutely,
feel forced? Do you think most
absolutely.
men feel like if they don't participate that they
There'll
will
be
lose?
problems at the house.
Do
So
you think
most
that there's
men,
already problems at the house that has nothing to do with whether they get a gift or not?
I would say so.
Yeah. Yeah, me
I
too.
would say so.
And I'm to the point now where I'll tell guys, I don't do the flowers. And some people may. I mean, I'm not saying that if it's your thing, but I think we need to start looking at the holidays that we celebrate, because like you, I think it's a commercialized, it's a transactional, that's y'all's word on conversation with Trent, it's transactional.
Exactly. That's a transactional situation there.
It's a transactional day for most, not
Exactly.
all, for most.
Exactly.
For most.
I feel to believe that, if gentlemen really step and say, "Hey, baby, listen, I'm not gonna buy you anything for Valentine's Day." If they're
Do you
honest,
think
if they
that it
go,
has to be verbalized?
yeah, I mean, because if she's still expecting it, you know what I'm saying. So it should be talked about. It should be communicated that, "Hey, Tammy, I'm uncomfortable. I'm uncomfortable with just being forced to buy you a gift when I really don't have the funds to do it. But you want to go along with everybody else, so I have to jump in this line and jump at Walgreens 8 o'clock at night trying to get this gift after working a 16-hour shift, using my lunch money for next week to get these roses, candy."
So why do you think Cupid, do you think, for the sake of the show, the title, where is Cupid? And I think where we how we ended up here was we were talking about the day and how the gifts come
Yeah,
about,
yeah.
and then a day or two later Cupid is
Honestly,
missing in action.
in today's climate, man, Cupid never even showed up. So Cupid's not even there. He wasn't there before Valentine's Day. Cupid never showed up.
So say that again.
Cupid never showed up. Said, "Where's Cupid?" He never showed up.
So
Because
you think
everything
that
is that
most guys are just taking the exit saying I'm not doing it.
exactly.
Okay. So I was taking this from the perspective of, yes, I'm going to get you something, but I'm going to still go do what I do. I'm still going to do
Cupid
me.
was never there. He was camouflaged. So those guys that you see in Walmart and Walgreens in the last hour, they never showed up. That those are Cupids that never showed up.
Showed up in the sense of what?
They didn't want to do it in the first place, but they're forced to do it
But do you think they're at least showing up with a rose, a box of candy, or a teddy bear, or a dinner or something?
to keep the peace.
Okay. So what happens after that? Do you think, as far as the relationship, say if Cupid feels forced, what do
Everything,
you
everything
think
will roll back
happens?
into everything will roll back into that toxic manner.
Okay. Because I
That's
was
all
going
it is that's just like I'm sure you're familiar with gardening. It's just like turning a garden over, correct? So Valentine's Day, we're gonna turn this garden over to give those roots a time to breathe and all that stuff. Let's turn it over a little bit. Let's work this garden for a second.
so I'm gonna
What
ask you a
happens
question.
after?
How many gifts, how many times you've been Cupid? And in a sense, I mean where you would give a gift, but your heart's not there, and you know you're not going to be there the next day or the next
A
day.
ton of times.
Ton of times. So
A
the
ton.
gift doesn't mean. Let's say this again. Just because you get a gift doesn't mean that,
Doesn't don't mean that it's authentic. I don't care if it's a 5 carat ring. I mean, if it's not authentic, that's just a 5 carat ring. That's it.
or if the relationship is not what, if the relationship is not what it should be, and whatever it should be is up to
Whatever
you
item that is, that's
before
just a
or
superficial
after.
item. That was just a superficial item purchased by a person that is not being honest with you about how you really feel.
So do you? So I think you did say this. People should sit down, dating people who are dating, and discuss. Should the guy ask, "Hey," or just say, "I don't do Valentine's," or "I don't plan on getting you anything"?
Exactly. I mean, I've done it.
Okay. Should the lady
I've done it.
ask? Should the lady ask if the guy doesn't say anything?
She has a right. She has a right to say something. She has a right to say that's open communication. That means that she's willing to be, to communicate with this. So she has a right to say it's her right
Okay.
away to say, "Hey, baby, are you gonna what we're gonna do for Valentine's Day?" Open up that gate for him.
How
Don't.
many women do you think would be okay with asking that question?
I'm not sure. I don't know. I don't know. I
I
know
don't
if
think women would be comfortable or feel like, for those who do expect something, and I think the first thing is to determine, if you do expect something, why do you expect it? Is it because you're in a relationship, in a very meaningful relationship, or just because it's the thing
right.
to do?
Here's what I tell you what I did. It's so funny that you're doing this topic tonight, right? So about 3 weeks before Valentine's Day, this year, like this past Valentine's, I put up a random post. I rarely post. All like you'll see quotes, you'll see videos from the shows, all that stuff. So this time I actually put a personal post up. I said, let me get this out of the way right quick. I have no intentions on getting anyone any Valentine's Day gift. It was
Okay.
just straight random.
When did you do this? Like,
It was about 3 weeks ago.
okay. Okay.
Even
So,
before February 1st, even
okay.
before
Okay.
February 1st. I was like, let me get this out of the way real quick. I have no intentions on purchasing any Valentine's Day gifts. I said what I said. So I said that to get the feedback. To see exact
Mhm.
so a whole bunch of women are like they laughed about it and all that stuff, but I opened up the dialogue, opened up the conversation to have, well, why do you feel that way, Trent? Well, let me tell you why. Because I don't think it's fair for one on either side, not just a man's side, on either side, to be forced into purchasing and buying a gift. If I don't have it, I don't have it. And I don't
What
feel like that day should be designated for a gift. Maybe I
do
want to
you
get
think
you a
it's a
gift
matter
on.
of if you have it or not? Because even if you
It's
have
not
it, I
even
think
about
we're
that. It's not even about
right.
that
I
because
think we've
honestly,
come to a time where so many things are so superficial. Even these
exactly,
pagan holidays,
to me,
we don't
to me, it's not
understand the meaning behind the holidays.
exactly. To me, it's not authentic when let's just say you expect them to get something from me for Valentine's Day, right? And if I show up in that last hour, that final hour, and get
Mhm.
you that gift, that's not coming from the heart. That's not heartfelt. I didn't want to do this, Tammy. I'm pressured to do this
Mm.
because this is what you're expecting because you're watching Hallmark movies and Hallmark commercials talking about K's and a smile or whatever the commercial is. So I'm forced. I'm forced to do it now and to quiet the house down and keep everything in, a calm manner and keep everything peaceful. I'm gonna go and get you this $2 rose and this $3 card and sign that and keep it going. And maybe a little chocolate, maybe some Godavas or something.
Do
But
you
I didn't
think
put no thought into this. There's no thought into this. So
right? And that's how
for
those
me,
men
so it's
looked
that.
in Walgreens. Like they looked like I'm sick of this shit. I don't want to do this. I don't even like her like that. I mean,
And I
seriously. And
guarantee
I'm
that I
talking.
guarantee that line at Walgreens were long. Wasn't it long?
Oh, absolutely. It was crowded. I'm telling you, it
Exactly.
was men everywhere. And you're
That's the
right. It's
last
like
minute
you're
guys, man.
scrambling, trying to figure out what do I get?
Last minute guys. That's a last minute guys. The majority of those guys holding down a great job, paying all the bills, taking care of everything. Still got to come out and figure out how to do this on a forced holiday, something that you really don't think about. You giving her Valentine's Day every day of the week. If you guys living together, if you guys married, she's getting Valentine's every day when she turn the lights on. She's getting
So,
Christmas.
what are coming from the male perspective? What are some telltales or clear signs that if you're a person that celebrates Valentine's Day, um, and your guy does too, what are some clear signs for the women that we're celebrating it, but you're not my Valentine?
If he coming with that Walgreens rose, or
What about
if he
the
come,
hour? What about the hour that he or she I'll say he brings it?
that's the way you
Um,
go with this.
and what
So
happened the night
if
of?
you get, let's just say this, if you get Valentine's Day a day before or the day after, you are really not the Valentine. You are really
If
not the
you get it
Valentine.
the day before or the day after.
You are really not the Valentine. You're not.
Okay.
I'll tell you guys a story real quick. God rest his soul, Greg. My brother Greg was this. He was a very charismatic guy, playboy, right?
Hmm.
So I always had his credit cards with me and all that stuff. So he's always working. So he said, "Hey, listen, I need you to go pick up." And this is actually on I think it's Thanksgiving. Yeah, you familiar with the Honey Baked Ham store?
Yes.
Okay, all of his girlfriends have to have Honey Baked Hams. So I go and purchase all these Honey Baked Hams, and I had to deliver them for him. And we're talking about like 5, 6 women, 5, 6 different women, and some of them were involved. I was like,
Greg,
man, yeah,
what?
great. So, so I say, man, she's married. He said, yeah, he got to eat too, though. So just make sure she get it. And he'd never show up to their homes. I would deliver the honey baked hams.
Who would
Like
you be?
five,
The honey baked delivery guy?
I would drop them off, or sometimes I would meet them, or sometimes I just go to their house and just drop them off. Some of them were involved, some of them were single, but they were all Greg's girlfriends.
And this was on Valentine's Day?
Nah, this is Thanksgiving. He was doing Thanksgiving meals.
What did he do on Valentine's Day?
He'd always go out. He'd do like roses, and he spent time with a lot of them the day before and the day after.
I have a question. This is for the
Mhm.
men. Have you ever bought a dozen of roses and split them? Tell
I
the
wouldn't do that. No,
truth.
I wouldn't. I wouldn't.
So
Because
you
I'm
give a
not a
dozen.
yeah, no, I'm not even a rose type guy. I'm like more of a birds of paradise type situation.
So when you were married, did you do the Valentine's gift?
I did gardenias and stuff. Here's one thing I did when we built a home in Louisiana before we moved out to Michigan, and I didn't buy roses, um, didn't do gardens of paradise, the birds of paradise, anything like that. I had the gardener do gardenias, royal gardenias, and when
Hmm.
she come home, it was there.
Valentine's or just
It
in
was just
general?
because it wasn't even for the day. It was just
Okay.
because.
Okay.
So she walked because she loved Diana Ross, right? So as she come in, she went into the garage and I say, "Why don't you go out and get the mail for me?" So she went back out to get the mail. She had to come up the walkway to get back into the house. A row of gardenias on each side.
Okay.
Billy D, Billy D, Billy D. That's a Billy D move. But I did stuff like that, and that's what
But
I say
your
when
wife,
I
she
mean
was your wife.
she was my wife at the time. Yes, but I do stuff like that. I don't. I wasn't forced. It wasn't. I didn't feel pressure to do that. That's something
Mhm.
that I wanted to do, and it was genuine and honest from the heart.
What percentage of the men you think feel forced on Valentine's Day? Non-married men.
Even married men feel forced. Come on. Yeah, we can't exclude them. Come on. Just
Well,
because they're
I
married.
think I understand what you're saying, but because again, I don't do the balance. I just don't. I don't.
Right. I'm gonna
And
say
I
it's a
always
high
make it
percentage. I can't
clear.
put a number on it. It's a very high percentage.
But I think if you're married in a relationship and that's what y'all do, then
Yeah, oh, for
I
all
think
means, by all means, go for it.
it's a little different. It's a little different.
Right.
Still, I don't think it should be mandatory whether
Nah,
you're
I don't
married
either.
or not. I just don't think it should take Valentine's Day to it just feels forced. I
But
would rather get I don't know. I'll tell you a story I heard, true story, where this husband, he would give his wife, from the time they got married, she got a dozen roses every month. Well, he had, just like you have your will and whatever else, he had made arrangements for her to get those dozen of roses for the rest of her life, even after he was gone. That's a beautiful story. That's a love story to
beautiful.
me.
And that's
That's
a
beautiful
heartfelt.
'cause you're
That's a
right,
heartfelt thing. That wasn't forced. It was a heart that was thought out. That was very thought out.
right.
Look like you got some guys in here comment. You might want to get to them because they look good.
Yes, we do. So, yes, I did receive the poem. I have not read it, but I will, and I'll get back with that. Let's see, what is he saying here, y'all? I'm gonna put my reading glasses on here. I can't see this.
Somebody's playing
Oh, that's
devil's
so much
advocate.
better.
Love it.
It would work on the topic you're discussing now. Oh, Tony, I wish I'd have known that, but we'll bring it back another time. I'll introduce it. We got some other things that we're going to be working and talking about, so I'm sure it will be appropriate for those as well. But thank you for sending it. Hey, Kevin Lang, how are you? And I thought
Mr.
I saw
Lang,
something else here. Kevin Lang, bingo. I don't know what you were saying bingo about, so let us know. He's saying playing devil's advocate. If you know your woman, you already know she's expecting or not expecting something.
that's
Okay.
true. That's actually true. That's
Um, it shouldn't be last minute. He says, no, I thought a dozen roses for a woman. No, I bought a dozen roses for a woman in Valdosta. She ain't even like them. Okay. And he said,
another
come on,
thing. There you go.
that's confirmation that he or she is your boo. Confirmation that okay, I need you to tell me some more on that, KL. You said it's confirmation that he or she is your boo, meaning if you get the gifts, then it's a confirmation. Because I beg to differ. It doesn't always mean
That does it
that.
because again, like the whole Greg story,
I
that was
think it
your
makes
prime.
people feel like they are
Yeah, make
for
them
a
feel good,
moment because
especially
you
on the
really know you know the story. You know if Cupid's been missing before Valentine's Day, and if he has, he's
absolutely,
most likely going to be missing after Valentine's Day and on
absolutely.
Valentine's Day because the
Newsflash,
one that
ladies.
say
Newsflash,
that again.
ladies. If I was talk to your female audience here for a second.
Mhm.
Newsflash, ladies. If that gentleman's taking you to dinner the day before Valentine's Day and he disappears on Valentine's Day, you are not the Valentine. You are not the Valentine. If he's doing it the day after, then you guys go to Outback or go to Morton Steakhouse. Oh yeah, it's a great steak. He's giving you that porterhouse, but you're still not the Valentine.
Hmm.
I don't care how much the steak costs because the guy's going to always make it convenient for himself. He'll spend $100 to make himself comfortable in a situation where he mean you no good.
So do you how on an average will a man pay if he has it, will he spend the dollars on Valentine's Day for the side chick to keep the relationship warm?
Absolutely. I've done it. I've done it in my past.
Okay. So when they do that, or when you did that, did you spend Valentine's night with or day with her?
No, because I didn't want to ruin anything at my house. So almost like, let's just say that $300 would be hush money.
Oh,
You
okay.
follow
Hush
me?
money.
So you know what I'm
Okay.
saying? So keep her calm. Hey,
Like,
go get your nails done and take this 250 and
but
do
you
whatever you
can't
want to
have
do.
Valentine's Day. You can't have the day or the night. You can get this, but you
Nah,
can't have the day. That belongs to
nah, you
someone
can get
else.
that, but you can't have this. But that's
So
just
in
hush
most
money. That's all it is.
that's
Hush
hush
money.
money. Okay. 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 So
Yeah, that's all it
KL
is.
said basically it's a side chick.
Pretty much.
Okay.
Pretty much. And you'll be
Okay.
surprised how many men operate like that, where to convenience himself, to make sure the home state is fine, yeah, take these $300 and go get your nails done, and I'll talk to you next week.
Hmm.
Yeah, it's called hush money.
Do you on an average, what percentage of women do, and I know you're not a woman, but just as a man, what percentage of women know that they're the side chick before, or know that they're not the Valentine's, and they don't get the gift, or they get it the day before or the day after and they remain with Cupid
Ladies, don't shoot me. Do not shoot me. I'm gonna say 100% of you guys know when that guy is not into you. 100% of you guys know when he has someone.
when he has
If
someone
you
else?
if you know his moves, if you know his move, how he moves, the hour that you're seeing him when he sees you, you know exactly what's up. You know
I
exactly what's
I was having a conversation with a young lady, and she felt like, actually it was her husband, but she just said, I feel like he's playing me. And I said, well, if you feel like he's playing you, don't say
trust your
that.
gut.
Just say you're being played.
Exactly.
Own
Trust your
up to
gut.
it
Here's
because
the thing.
.
Trust your gut. And I wrote a piece on this a couple of weeks ago about the rose-colored glasses, right? That's just like me for a second. I'll place myself in that situation. When I was going through my turmoil with my ex-wife, and I hired a private investigator, and she had cheated, all this stuff, and got all the information back, all the intel back. I knew, but I still continued to wear the rose-colored glasses. Still
Why?
continued.
Why?
I kept negotiating because I still wanted the relationship. I
Okay.
still wanted my family. So I
Okay.
continued on with the rose-colored glasses, even though I had hard proof. But the
How much
rose-colored
of that
glasses,
do you think is ego? Ego.
a ton, ego and a ton of pride, a whole bunch of
Okay. Okay.
it. Yeah,
You
a whole
don't
bunch.
cheat on me. You don't do this to
You don't
me.
do not to me. You don't do this to me.
Right.
I'm gonna stay in this relationship, and I'm gonna we're gonna keep this relationship straight. At some point, I'm gonna get you back. That was my mentality back then.
Do you think often I'm gonna get you back so that I could be the one to make the move? Do you think like
Nah, for me, it
no?
was I really wanted to hurt her. I really wanted to break her heart.
Well, that's what I said. Like,
Yeah, yeah.
okay,
That's exactly what
okay,
it was.
okay, okay. How much? I'm trying to be careful how I say this, but I'm gonna say it
Yeah, go ahead.
how
Just
I
go for
thought. And not for you, just because I feel like for me, I'm here in this stage because I've grown to a point where I mentioned this before. Like I feel so different about so many things that in life it feels like I've unlearned everything.
it. No,
Um,
huh? That's a beautiful thing, though,
and
Tam.
hmm,
That's a beautiful thing, though.
it is. It really is. But how much how much insecurity do you think insecurity plays into people just, I have to have not just the Valentine's, but the Christmas, the birthday. We have to do these things because the world says that shows me that you value me.
Yeah, that's a ton of insecurity with that, because if you're constantly looking at Jane, or you're constantly looking at what Mary have, what John did for Mary, you have to dig a little deeper within yourself to figure it out. Because if you're concerned with what Mary have and what John did, and you coming back home telling Bobby, hey Bobby, you see what John did with Mary? I mean, well, now what are you gonna do? You're placing pressure on this man with your insecurity. Bobby has nothing to do with this. That's all about you. That's an insecure. That's a toxic trait that you need to fix. If you're constantly looking at your girlfriend stuff, pressuring Bobby to get that stuff that he really don't want to get. That's not even fair to Bobby in the end, if you think about it.
Hmm. I was at work and I had a couple of contractors coming in and out, and one asked me, several of them, mentioned Valentine's, but one asked me, "What'd you get?" I said, "Well, I don't do Valentine's, so I didn't get anything." I said, "So I'm good." He's like, "You don't do Valentine's? My wife would kill me if I didn't get her anything for Valentine's Day." So it's just, and you could just see even in him, like, why do I have to do this? Like, we have everything that we need. She has everything that she needs.
Exactly.
But if it can make you, if your spouse or your significant other or your boo did not get you anything, but he's been good to you all year, he's there, he's attentive, he takes care of business. And if he didn't get you anything, if he just simply said, "I love you" on this day or whatever, be honest with yourself. Would that piss you off? Would you feel some kind of
Exactly.
way that you didn't get something?
It's called giving him a little grace, man. Give him a little grace. If he's taking care of his business, he's taking care of the household, he's taking care of you, he's taking care of the kids. Give the man a little grace.
Hmm.
Give the man a little grace, man, because he has to go out every day, especially if he's a black man. He's going out every day and deal with the world on top of taking care of his family, taking care of his kids, make sure everything is taken care of with you guys. Give the man a little
Hmm.
grace. Don't put no pressure on it. Don't put more pressure on it. Give him a little grace.
I don't feel that we really realize how distracted the world keeps us with these holidays. So
Thank
I
you.
I really, I think you guys, if you've not looked up these holidays, like how they arrived here, where they come from, like how where they originated from back in the day up to now. Take some time to really, we have, before we can get over one holiday, there is another.
It's always
And
something.
all of
It's
them
always something.
involve that we buy something, that we
Exactly.
purchase more stuff
Here's the
that we
thing, right?
don't need.
Totally off of the subject here, but here's the thing. Um, Kobe, you know Kobe. All these guys know Kobe, my dog, and
Not
I had a
everybody.
friend of mine. Huh? Now, what? Not
Not
everybody.
everybody knows Kobe.
A friend of mine was about, hey, it's National Dog Day. I was like, okay, but it's National Dog Day for Kobe every day. Kobe
Mm.
got a nice plush bed to lay in, and he got all the treats he want and everything. I'm not about to go to PetSmart and spend $200 because it's National Dog Day.
Please
thirty
don't
dollars
tell me
off.
you're one of these people who dress the dog.
Nah, I don't dress him.
Okay.
He does get groomed every month.
I'm probably gonna piss somebody off from saying that, but I'm sorry, not
Nah,
sorry. I will
I
never
don't dress him. I
understand
don't.
why dogs need clothes. I just,
Nah, I
and
don't dress
again, I
him.
just feel like that's how we get so caught up. Um, there's just things I see happening in my culture that I never thought that I would have, because that's what it really is all about. It's not about, maybe it is color, meaning there are some things that are about color, but when it comes to our differences, most of them is culture. Like, we are
Right.
culturally, we
Well,
just,
I'll tell you this though, he does get groomed every month. I mean, but that's just like a dude. I mean, you got to stay shaved up. You got to get trimmed up. So
yeah, yeah,
yeah, that's about it.
yeah.
Yeah.
So back to Cupid. I think I asked you, how many times do you feel you've been Cupid? And you said a lot of them. You didn't give us a
Yeah.
number. Give us some of the aftermaths of, when you didn't show up that day, when you were a day before or a day after. What were some of the results did you
Well,
lose the girls?
no, not me. It was actually, to be honest, I came bearing gifts. So you
But the day
always feed
before,
them
the
with
day after.
exactly every day. If I wasn't gonna make it on that day, on that particular day, I came bearing gift.
How
You
many,
get it?
has there ever been a time where you saw multiple on that day?
Maybe
Women?
two. sometimes.
maybe two.
Yeah,
And how
sometimes.
did you determine who would get the night shift?
My actual girlfriend.
Okay. Would you be required to give I wouldn't say an excuse or explanation of why you didn't spend that particular night
For
together?
me, no, for me personally, I never brought it up. I just came bearing gifts, and that was that.
So as long as
Bearing gifts up.
the gifts took care of everything, it didn't mean that you had to have that night,
That's it.
that person. Okay.
That's it.
Okay.
But you always, and here's the thing. Here's the thing. And if everybody want to be honest here, when you're playing out there like that, when you're playing out there like that, right? You just go bearing the most expensive gifts, and she's gonna be quiet. That's hush money. She's gonna be quiet. She's going because she has the bragging rights to go to work into the office. Girl, guess what Trent did? Girl, guess what Trent did?
Hmm.
Cadavers and birds of paradise. Girl, he didn't give me roses. That's average. He didn't give me roses. Birds of paradise. Something that has to be flown in.
Hmm.
You get it?
Yeah.
And it's still average, and it wasn't from the heart. It wasn't honest, and it wasn't authentic. It wasn't genuine. So it still meant nothing. That
So
means
how does
Cupid
the girl
for
know
some reason.
she's got I don't know if I should say she has Cupid or she doesn't have Cupid. How does a girl know that Cupid belongs to
By the way
her?
he treats her. By the way he treats her. By the
Before and
attention that she
after or
gets.
just that day?
No, the whole entire year, or however long she's with him. By the way
Mm.
she treats him, just like Kevin said, they know. They're gonna know. He'll know when what she needs or what she wants. They know. Both sexes know. The question is when you're gonna be honest with yourself, and if you're living a lie, when you're gonna get away from that situation.
Hmm.
Most people know when they're in trouble situations, whether we want to be honest here or not. Most people know when they're in trouble situations. Most people know when they're unloved. Again, most people know when they're unloved.
Why do you think so many people, knowing this, still entertain the people that they want to love them, but they know that they don't, that they're
For
not
me,
the one?
for me personally, again, I get a little transparent here. When my situation went south, I was holding on to everything in my power. I was doing everything in my power. I upgraded her ring, everything to try because I wanted the relationship because I was afraid of leaving Michigan, going back south, and explaining to my family that this lavish wedding that we had overseas
Mm.
didn't work out. All we did was 10 years. So it was more pride and ego for me. I was afraid. So I fought 8 more years because I didn't want to look stupid.
So it
So that
really
was
wasn't,
pride and
not
ego.
that you didn't care about that, but it really wasn't about that. It was more about, hey, I can't look like a damn fool. Like,
That's it.
yeah, I
That's
can't look like I lost this.
that's it. That's it. That's it. So until I bit the bullet, and hey, this is my reality. This is what I'm sitting in. This is where I'm moving
Mm.
on from. That's
Mm.
it. But it took a ton of years for me to get that. So I lived
To
that
get,
superficial life over and over in, year in, year out, a superficial life because I didn't want to look stupid to my family.
I
How
want to, I
stupid
want
is
to
that?
know if there are any women out there who just don't need Valentine's Day. Like you don't need to be
That would be
gifted.
interesting. That'd be
I
really
would
interesting.
like to know that. I run into them occasionally. I
Right.
did run into one this Valentine's Day that just
Right.
said, I don't need that day. I need every day. Meaning let's, and that's not just a one-sided thing, meaning we, me and you, need that day every day. Meaning that we honor, we value each other. We pick up something that um we know the other person likes just for
Right.
no reason. Because again, when it's this day, and if you celebrate it, and if you have a boo, and like Trent said, if you didn't get Valentine's Day, if you were not the one that he
You were
was
not.
with,
You're not the
then it's
Valentine.
likely that you're not the one. You're not the one. And what do you do with that if you are pretending that you are? What do you do with that? And if the flowers can make you feel special that one day or whatever it is that you get, if it can make you feel special enough to you don't even give a damn about if you are the one on that day, then it's more about you than it is him.
Pretty much, pretty much. But
Because
I'd say if I would say if I showed up, ladies, if I show up to your door the day after or the day before with the roses or the birds of paradise or whatever, made you feel good. You're looking at the price. These are very nice. These are very expensive.
yeah.
But this is the question that you should be asking yourself: does Trent really care about me, or is this just hush money? Is this just hush money? He don't want to hear my mouth. He not asking me why. He don't want the questions. Also, is that just hush money for me? That's when you dig a little deeper and you start dealing with yourself within, because it's not about Trent. It's about what's going on inside of you. It's about why you accepting Trent, why you accepting that, and why you allowing him to do that to you, why you allowing him to use you as a doormat.
Let's flip the question. Why do you I think you may have answered this, I'm not sure. Why do men who don't want to buy the gift, I mean, from one rose to, I don't know, dozens, why do they? Why do they go out and I know you said hush money, but some of it is not even money or enough to,
It could be you talking about the guys that are in relationships,
or situationships.
situationships. In most cases, that's just what it is. Like, I don't care if it's from Walgreens or whatever it is, still hush money. Because if she's accepting it from Walgreens, first of all, or Walmart, that says a lot about your standards, ladies. Raise the bar.
No, not really. A
Raise
rose
the
is a
bar.
rose is a rose.
No, it's not. Not when you're a gardener.
They look the same.
Not when you're a gardener.
They look the same. They all gonna die.
Listen to me
They,
though. Not
they're
Tammy.
all
And
going to.
I love gardening. Not when you're a gardener. No. Yeah, totally
But
different
when you walk through
situation.
the door with roses, I mean, I get it. You could go spend, I don't know, $100 for a dozen of roses. I guess depending on where they come from or whatever, how they were. Um,
How do I
see, I
actually
don't know.
how do I actually were planted? How was actually groomed? How were they taken care of through the
But at
process?
the end of the day, what difference does that really make? When you walk in there, what difference does that really make?
Nothing. Here's the
Right.
thing. If it's genuine, if you're doing something, if I'm doing something for you, and if it's well thought out, it doesn't have to be a holiday. It was well
Because
thought out.
I would, if the guy, if a guy takes the time to go wherever, he could go pick it himself. Doesn't
Exactly.
matter. But if they do take the time to bring
It
you
was well
something,
thought out.
and this is a person that's been wholehearted with you, I mean, doing the right thing, being there, and they come in with one rose from, it could be from the corner store. The woman
Except that
who
rose
knocks
like as
that
if
down, then he needs to check himself.
except first of all, if a guy come from the corner store with the rose, but everything else is taken care of at the house, except that rose like is laced with Tiffany diamonds.
Right. That's what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying. Because otherwise, I mean, then the guy would say, "Hey, what am I dealing with? What kind of woman am I
Exactly.
dealing with?"
Very
Because when I can
unappreciative.
no longer go get these $100 roses,
Exactly.
and it will come a time. It can, I should say, it can come a time. You never know what life will throw you, and if it's always transactional, as y'all use the word there,
That's right.
um, he or she will leave you like a hot piece of bread in your.
Let's explore transaction for a minute, right?
Let's do
The
it.
transactional situations are more about the men and not the women. Now I'll say this, and I said, "Well, Phyllis, you're not going to like me after this." But if you're using a transactional situation to get with this woman or to bring this woman over to the house,
Hmm.
what does that say about you? You don't want to be alone, first of all. You can't be alone with yourself. That's a problem. Not with the woman, with you.
Do you think it's always, but see, I think it's a little bit, it's about a little bit more than that. Which nowadays it doesn't take much um to get that. I think
Right.
it's more of a sex thing, which again, men don't have to really do that nowadays to get it. And I've heard that from men. just on how different it is that there's no more chase. They don't have to chase it. Like they can just get it, which I think that's another reason, even
But
with
here's the
Valentine's,
thing, though. I
it's
mean,
okay with not being there on that day because they know you're going to still welcome them back in.
right, but here's the thing, though. If these guys are talking about they don't have to chase it, is the chase is gone and all that stuff, brother. You're picking in the wrong garden. You're picking up some. You're not. You're picking up regular tomatoes. The Creole tomatoes on the other aisle.
No, what they meant by that is when they're back in the day, men were in their minds, in their eyes, and in how they look at it, men were the pursuers or the chasers.
I got you. I got
They were coming after you. Um, yeah, coming after the women. And what they have been saying, I've heard from a lot of men, is that I don't even want sex anymore because it's there. I can get it from anywhere.
I can
Dime a
totally
dozen.
relate to that. I can relate to that.
Yeah, so that's what
But
they meant by that.
as far as for me, when you talk about I don't want sex, I really don't even want it no more. Here's the thing with me. What's a turn off for me personally? The reason why I say things like that, that's because if that attitude is bad, if that energy's off, I don't even want to have a conversation with you, lady. What's going on? At this point, it's not about what's between your legs. Yeah, we know that ass is round, but what's between your shoulders? How
Do
that
men
compassion working
respect?
out?
Do men respect? Would Cupid respect the woman? Well, he probably didn't respect her before. What happens when Cupid gets away with bringing you the gift the day before or the day after? What happens in his head about this particular woman or women in his life?
He's gonna continue to use her as a doormat. If she accepted that on the day after or the day before, he's gonna continue doing the same repeated behavior, toxic behavior, over and over again, year
Okay.
after year. As long as she don't address it, it's gonna continue to stand like that.
Does she
So
have
he's
a
gonna
right to address it if she knows
absolutely she does.
that
Yeah.
she is not the
She,
one?
she she has the right of way to say, hey, listen, this is not working for me. She's gonna always have the right of way because it's her. She's gonna always
So
have the
what
right.
I mean by that, let's say if I know we've been playing this thing for a while now. I know I'm not your main squeeze, main thing. And on Valentine's Day, well, day before Valentine's, you drop me off a gift, whatever, whatever. But I don't see or hear from you on Valentine's Day.
It's up for
What?
her to gain the strength within herself to say enough is enough, sir. Enough is
Okay.
enough.
Okay.
She
Okay.
has to gain the strength from within and just shut that relationship completely off and look for the exit door. It's there. You're just not looking because of the rose-colored glasses.
So I guess the question is, where's Cupid? Cupid is with his main woman.
Cupid was never Cupid, though. That's what I keep telling you. Cupid was never Cupid because he was never there. That's not Cupid.
So I guess he's there alone
Wait, say that
with
again.
the main one.
He was with the main. He's always
It's,
with the main
it's
because
that's
that
what I'm
that
saying. He's where
those
he's
spots
always been.
exactly mentally and everything. Even when he's dropping that gift off the day before, the day after, his mind is still at home, trying to get back home, putting his phone on silent while he's in your house. Cupid was never Cupid to her.
Hmm. So we have a couple of them. Hold on one second. I don't know what KL is talking about because we've moved on. So I don't know. He said say that again, but I'm not sure what he was mentioning. He says again, confirmation, not sure there. And he says, here's a scenario. Say you had a daughter. He's talking to you, Trent, and
Yeah,
she had donuts with dad day. How are you going to show up with no donuts? Same thing.
I like Kevin.
Let me read this again. You have a daughter and you have donuts with dad. How are you going to show up with no donuts? Same thing.
So what he said, what Kevin is saying, you have to show up with something. You have to save face and show up for something.
Because you're getting the goods in some way.
Pretty much. There you go.
So you have to reward her in some way, even if it's the day before, or the day after. I have to
You gotta
say,
show up with
hey,
you gotta show up with something. Yeah.
okay.
But ladies, I wouldn't recommend to take those donuts or those roses because that is not Cupid.
But you know, it's interesting because they knew that before Valentine's Day.
I know, but here's the thing, man. When we're in situations, and this is male and female, right? When we're in these situations, again, those are rose-colored glasses, right? And normally the rose-colored glasses come about when we've did things before, before the sweat dry. When we've done all this stuff, and we can't, browbeat them, man, or whoever it is, he or she. Sometimes we find ourselves in these situations. We don't know how to get out of these situations, but at some point, when you see
You
that
have to
red
explain
flag,
the sweat drying because not everybody's gonna get that.
I got you. I will.
Okay.
When you get that first red flag, that is a red flag. It is red for a reason. Now it's up to you to say, "Hey, listen, that's a red flag. Let me have a conversation." If you digging him, or if you digging her, be gain the strength to say something. Speak your mind and say something in that first conversation. Once you put them up and bring them to the carpet, I guarantee you, they're gonna back off and run away once you call them up on their shit.
Hmm. So
It
the
didn't
sweat
happen to me.
drying,
It didn't happen to me.
meaning
When I came to the table with that bullshit, that Playboy stuff, flying in, doing this and doing that for him, and she said, "Hey, listen, that shit don't work for me." I stopped. I was like, "Oh, she see my bullshit. Oh, I'm not invisible."
what
Oh,
did you stop? What did you stop?
the games with her because I knew she wasn't gonna take it.
Did that you stop the games? Did that end the relationship, or did that
It
make you
did.
want the relationship more?
Made me want the relationship more, but the relationship was over because I was called on my thing, and that was it.
Does that mean you wanted it more for real,
No,
or
I
did you
wanted
do
her.
right?
No, I wanted her bad,
Okay.
but I was in a situation where the side piece became a little more vocal and whatnot. So I was stuck in between because I would travel to her. The side piece was in town.
Okay. Gotcha.
So, but I
Gotcha.
should have still been traveling.
Okay. Gotcha.
Side piece was a waste.
Gotcha. Gotcha. Um, explain the sweat drying.
The sweat drive, folks. I come up with this analogy. This is years ago at one of Tammy's events over there in Memphis. What was that place?
Oh, I didn't know that came. That's where you first spoke about that.
Yeah,
I
that's
didn't.
what. Yeah, when I
Okay. Okay.
what was that place? The university. What was it?
University of Memphis.
Yeah. So I was speaking at this place, right? I was going over my notes right before the before I spoke. So we're talking about relationships, and we talk about what happens after the sweat drive. So I've made over the years, I've made tons of decisions where I made them after the sweat drive. After she got out of my bed, that's when I made the decision to go into the relationship with her. Or that's when she made the decision to be in a relationship with me after the sweat drive. That means that I'm not logically thinking about this relationship. I'm thinking about that sweat that was drying as we
Mm,
laid. So I made the decision after the sweat drive. And normally, when you make the decision after the sweat drive, that's the worst decision you can actually make in life. Once you make that decision after getting that nut, it's on downhill from there. That's a wrap.
You're a
That's complete
squirrel.
wrap.
You're just another squirrel trying to get one, right?
That's it. That is it. So we've all, this is adult, and the reason why I can say that on here now because we do own B2G Unity TV, and it's non-censored for us. So we're just gonna call it how it is. We're just gonna call it how it is. After I got the nut and that sweat dried, then I made the decision. Oh, we're in a relationship. I don't even know this woman, man. Ma'am, you don't even know me. But we're in a relationship.
Mm.
These are the things that take
Situationship,
place.
as they call it now.
But that's what they call them these days, right? Situationship. So that's how the sweat dry come about. I was speaking to a bunch of ladies over there in Memphis um, for Tammy's event, but we've all done that though. We've all done that. Made that decision after the sweat dried and end up in horrible situations. I know I have a ton of.
At the end of the day, this is where I will put my period. In this and everything else actually, because there is nothing greater than say this. I started to say something. There is nothing greater than knowing yourself, loving yourself, understanding and knowing what you want. Because if you know you, then you know what kind of person you want. You know what you're going to deal with. I just feel like we don't do enough work on ourselves, which allows us to put up with Cupid or to have a desire or a need for Cupid and his bullshit,
Tammy,
his
that's
one
not Cupid.
flower, his
That's not Cupid.
whatever. Huh?
Tammy, that's not Cupid. That's not Cupid.
Who is Cupid then?
Cupid is the guy who actually truly love you and who's actually going to go to the extra mile, who's actually going to put thought into that gift, even if it's not on Valentine's Day, as long as you're putting thought into that.
Cupid
Cupid
is
is
the
that guy.
man bringing the gift, regardless. This is how I
There
see
you
Cupid.
go.
I think you're saying it. He is the good guy
Yeah,
that
Cupid.
does the right thing to the
Absolutely.
right person.
Right.
But if Cupid has a
Absolutely.
day before shift, a day before Valentine's shift, or a day after shift, day after Valentine's, then he's not right either.
That's
He's
true.
not right. And so I'm
And
saying
when I
to women, you're
right,
worth more than hell. Go buy your own flowers. If roses is your thing, go buy your own. Not just on Valentine's Day, buy them just when you want them. If that's your thing, don't
right,
allow any man. And I'm going to say the only way you get there, because when I was in my phase of I felt like I needed this because everybody else is getting it, who
right.
cares? Who
Here's the
cares?
thing. Here's the thing for me personally. Again, I'll get a little more transparent. The moment I started figuring myself out, the moment I found myself within myself, I raised the bar.
Right.
I raised the bar. Before I was in this trance and with these rose-colored glasses, getting these all these corporate women, all this stuff, and with jet set and doing all this stuff, all these exotic vacations, all that stuff. That was still lowering my standards. That was still lowering my standards. I say that, and I'm not talking about monetary things. Once you find yourself within yourself, you're gonna raise the bar. You have no choice but to raise the bar. Once you find yourself within yourself and you go inward and deal with yourself, you're not gonna accept bullshit.
I
You're
think
not
when
gonna
you start
accept
to feed
mediocre.
your spirit and not your flesh, when you start to
Thank
really feed your spirit and you start to look with eyes that I would say your spiritual eyes, listening with your spiritual ears, feeling with your spiritual
you.
heart,
Absolutely.
taking those thoughts captive, based
Absolutely.
on you and who you are and what you want, the things that you put up with, that you allow in your life, begin to
Right.
change. Your desires. Let me say that. Your desires. It's like the verse in the Bible that says, God will give you the desires of your heart. That's,
Absolutely.
I feel like, if your heart's desires are the same as his. Like I might desire that I shouldn't say that, that somebody drops dead. I might desire that because of how they've made me feel.
Right. Right.
That's
Right.
not going to be God's desire for that person. Or at least I
Ladies,
don't think
if
so.
you ever get to that point, ladies, if you ever get to that point where you know he's on some bullshit and you choose you, it's okay for him to say that you're difficult. It's okay for him to say, yeah, okay, yeah. It's okay for him to say that you're difficult. That means that you should be looking for that exit door with the flashlight.
I don't
That
even think
means you're
they need
supposed
a
to
flashlight. I think they've walked to that exit door so many times they could do it blindfolds on.
so
I
you
mean,
tell me
seriously, because like you said, they know. We know.
that yeah,
We
absolutely.
know. We know where Cupid was before Valentine's Day. We know where he was on Valentine's Day, whether he was with us or
Right.
not. We know where he is the day after. whether it was with us or not. Because if someone's down for you,
Exactly.
they're going to be down for you on Valentine's Day. Whether you call them
Absolutely.
Cupid or stupid, it doesn't matter.
Tammy
It
said it.
doesn't
I
matter.
did, ladies.
What?
I was letting the ladies know you said that. I didn't say that.
What? Cupid or stupid?
Yeah.
Oh, that they knew. Yeah,
Yeah.
they do. We do. I'm gonna say they. We know because I've been there too, where I've known and I just put up with it. But let me tell you, I was very insecure. I was very broken. Um, Now, if
Right.
I had to do life by myself for the rest of my life, it would be so good. But if I don't
Right.
have to, it's still going to be so good. Why? Because I know who I am
Absolutely.
and I feel like I'm good. I feel like I'm great now, not just good. So if I feel like I'm great, I'm only going to want greatness around me. Period.
Absolutely.
Period. You can't skip in today, gone tomorrow, skip back in a few days. That just won't work for me unless that's what I wanted. And then if that's
Right.
what I wanted, I would be telling you when to skip and when not to. Period. You
That's
wouldn't be
right.
skipping on your own.
That's right. That's
So
right.
Cupid is wherever he's been all year and where he will be for the rest of the year if you don't decide what it is you want and if he's the Cupid for you. And if he is, why? What standards do you have that he is adhering to? So it starts with you, ladies. Is there a Valentine's Day for men?
Yeah, it's
Didn't
called
men?
Sweetie's Day.
But
And
didn't?
hey, it's called Sweetie's Day. The book that I just sent you,
Mhm.
it's gonna mention Sweetie's chapter of the Delta is gonna mention Sweetie's Day in that book.
Wasn't there a point where we used to buy each other gifts on Valentine's Day though? No, never.
I don't even remember. I don't know.
For some reason, I thought men used to get gifts as well.
Yes, it's called Sweetie's Day. That's what I'm
But I
telling you.
thought it was on Valentine's Day that people
Nah,
exchange.
nah, it's always Sweetie's Day, and it's more for Northerners and stuff like that on the East Coast. But Sweetie's Day is where women does stuff for the men and all that stuff, and the gifts and the dinners and all that stuff. It's called Sweetie's Day, not Valentine's Day, just Sweetie's Day.
I wonder how many sweeties got gifts day before Valentine's or the day after.
All I'm gonna say is
I
read the
wonder.
book. You're gonna see
Okay.
because Cupid was at home when she was actually taking her sweeties out for Sweetie's Day.
That's so interesting to me that Cupid, you saying that. Um, I'm gonna have to read the book first. I'm gonna have to read the book because I've just heard about the book. I'm gonna have to really see how. What's his name in the book? Ramel,
Ramel, Ramel.
Ramello. I'm gonna have to see the work of Ramello. You guys, we got some really good news coming about the book too, and some things we're gonna do with it soon. So Trent wants to give it all out, but we don't have enough down yet. Maybe next week we'll have the spread.
And Tammy, ladies and gentlemen, Tammy's one of these folks who she gonna cross that I and dot those T's 1,000 times before we even
Cross
push
the
dot
I and dot the T.
or dot the I or cross the T or whatever.
Dot. I do. I like for stuff to be right
I know,
and
I know,
ready.
I know, I know.
But that's why, hey, that's why that's my life language. His is so different, and others are as well. But that's why we just have to know. That's just how I am and who I am, and make no apologies for
And
it.
she know with me, she know with me. If she don't want it out, she's not gonna. She won't share it until the last minute. Because if I feel like she's,
Procrastinating.
backing on the heels, backing up, procrastinating, backing on those heels, I'm gonna push that button. So,
Yeah, yeah.
but it works. Our friendship works. Our business partnership works.
Tell them how they can listen because you have a show scheduled for tomorrow, right? What's the topic?
Tomorrow, I think we're gonna talk about Black Wall Street tomorrow. We're gonna end this Black History Month.
Okay. And how
Black
can
Wall
they
Street.
tell them how they can
They could
find
actually
the show?
tune it. They could tune in right here on the B2G Unity Network, B2 B2G Unity TV.com. We stream
Okay.
live every Wednesday and Sundays. So it's twice a week, Wednesdays and Sundays. We're there. We're talking about everything under the sun. Coach D and I, we go in, we do some healthy debate, very healthy adult debating that goes on over there. So similar to this, But D is more, she gets under the skin a little more. She has a different perspective on certain things. So, but it's good. It's good and healthy debate. And it's Wednesdays and Sundays, right here on the B2GUnityTV.com.
I'm going to push tonight for those of you who are looking to become. We talk about love languages so much. And what I feel that does is we figure if we know our love language, then we're good. But
Right.
there's a life that belongs to you. There's a life that you were created for and that you were created to understand. So,
Absolutely.
what I do through the Bluff City Leadership is I help people build and maintain healthy relationships, starting with yourself. That is not just knowing who you are, but understanding how you're wired, why you respond to life, to love, to people, and to situations in the way that you do, because there is some meat to that. There is some serious meat. There's a whole meal to that, to
Right.
learning to understand yourself better and to learn how to communicate effectively from that place. When you don't know who you are, you don't know what to ask for, you don't know what to speak about and put a period at the end of it, a comma, a semicolon, whatever it is. One of the best things I could have did for myself, and I would not be here in this place of growth had I not been introduced to the opportunity of the life language. So if you're interested, matter of fact, I will give someone one. I will give one away tonight. First person to reach out to me and say, "Hey, I want it." And this season, I'm not playing with people. If I gift you one and it takes you more than a day to take it, I know that you're not ready. Period.
Exactly.
Is coming back to me. I'm not playing with people in this season of my growth or yours because it has done wonders for me. And
That
I
part.
want the same for others as I want for myself.
That
Period.
part.
Doesn't matter who you are, why you are, how you are, whatever. When you're there, when you're ready, let's do it. Let's walk this thing together. So if you're
Right.
interested in learning about the life languages, taking the assessment, or I'll call it profile. Some people don't like to be assessed, or being an introducer. We have a program where it does require that you take it, but you can also be an introducer and make money from introducing it to people. You have your own link, send the people to your link. They take it, you get paid. I get a little bit of change as well, not as much as you do, but you're not allowed to do the coaching on it. So
Right.
if you're interested in any of that stuff, let me know. Trent's actually an introducer. He doesn't do it as much, but he is one.
Yeah.
Um,
I've been kind of busy over here.
yeah, yeah,
I have to
yeah,
get back to it. I get back to
yeah, yeah. You can do that in your busy season too. Be a good time to introduce it in your busy season.
it. Yeah,
So,
absolutely. You know what? Yeah, absolutely right.
yeah. So, anything else from you? I just say to the ladies, hey, if you're okay with Cupid in the way that Cupid presents himself to you, fine. But if you want more from life, of life, for yourself, close the door on Cupid. Buy him a Valentine's Day as you tell him to get stepping.
Exactly. This is a good one, man. This is a real good one.
No more final words from Mr. Epic. That's it.
Yeah, I mean, final word for me
No
is
Cupid files. Nothing from the Cupid files.
now the final word for me would be I mean, hey man, you see what you see. You see exactly what you feel.
You see what you
See
see.
you see what you see, you see exactly what you feel. Now what you're gonna do with that information that you've acquired. The exit door is waiting on you.
Will men show up more? I know not all, but in general, will men show up in a better way if women required more of them?
I think so, but you can't make a person do what they don't want to do. Once that man goes within himself and deal with himself first, then he double backs on that woman. Yes, but he has to do the work first. I had to do the work to get better.
So you don't feel like somebody could desire something in a way that they don't feel that they can obtain themselves in a good woman? Do you think a good woman who loves them unconditionally, without all the bullshit, of course, without you doing dipping and dabbing, Cupid this that, do you think that a man on that level, will a man, can a woman help a man rise to himself
This
if
is
he
not gonna be
desires?
this is not gonna be popular, but at this stage in life, you're too old to be building people. Come with something. Come with something. Come with something to where at least bring your chisel, man. If she's willing to work with you, you're responsible for carrying your chisel and working on yourself within the relationship. But come with something. And I'm not talking about monetary stuff, but don't allow her to hold those bags by herself. When I say bags, I'm talking about emotional bags. Don't allow her to hold those emotional bags. She's carrying enough. But if she's willing to work with you, at least the least you could do for her is carry your personal chisel.
I saw, in closing, and it's made me think about this post. I saw it, and I took a picture of it. I've seen it before, I read it before.
Mhm.
Um, it talks about the one of the worst things being for a man to awaken a woman's love with no intentions on loving her.
Boy, have I done that. I've done
But
a ton over the course of my
I
life.
get I get that. But I also think there's nothing worse than a who knows this man has no intention on loving her, and still not knowing her
You want
worth
you
and being
you want to do me a solid? You want to do me a solid?
what?
Let's have a conversation on that.
On what?
Let's have a conversation on what you just said.
Okay, next week.
Yeah, we can do it next week
Okay,
on your side of things.
sure. I had cancellation, so I'm open next week as well.
Okay. The exact same thing you just said. I think we should dig a little deep into that one.
Yeah, yeah. Because a lot of women just need. I mean, man, Cupids, y'all don't know. I get that. You have no idea what it does to a woman when you break her heart. You have no idea. It can change the type of mother she is, the type of daughter,
Type of
employee,
friendships, everything. Change
whatever.
everything.
So yeah. So we'll do that. We'll do that. All right, great people.
Yes, sir.
It's been great. I am going to sleep. Well, shower, then sleep. Thank you guys for tuning in, and I hope for those of you who celebrated Valentine's, I hope your heart, you got your heart's desire. But more than anything, I hope you got the love that you so deserve and you wanted. If you did not, think about, you see what you see and you know what you know. All right. Thank you, Trent, for joining me tonight. Thank you guys
Very
for
welcome,
tuning
man.
in. We'll be back next Tuesday. Trent and I, we're going to talk about this opening up a woman's heart, love, but with no intentions on loving her.
I'm excited. I'm ready
All
for it.
right. That'll work for me. Thank you, my
Yes, sir.
brother.
All right, you got it, baby.
Blessed.
Okay, you too now.
Bye bye.